Hi, everybody, and welcome to ZoomChats 2020. Today, we have the absolute honor of getting a chance to visit with Sharon Babb. Now, how would we describe Sharon Babb? She's a Lifetime Achievement winner, but not only that, she is a singer, a teacher, a mentor, a quartet singer, a champion director, a visionary leader, and an inspiration to all who get to learn from her. And this afternoon, we get to talk with Sharon. So, welcome, Sharon. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you for that glowing introduction. And like you, we are sister baritones. Okay,
Baritones unite.
that's right. And of course, I had to be a music judge. I started as a sound judge, but a baritone has to go into the music category because it's the oddest of all categories, don't you know?
Are you calling the music category odd?
Well, it's odd in some ways in that every music judge has to pass an arranger's test to get into the category, to make sure that they know what chords are, what the 11 chords are that we use in barbershop, and so that they have the sense of concentration, because since we don't have the sheet music in front of us, we have to follow the music in our minds as the song goes on. So we don't want to be interrupted when the performance is going on because we are listening to everything that is happening within that song for the first time. A lot of people say, don't judges get tired of hearing the same song over and over again? The answer is no, because we never do hear the same song over and over again. It's different every time, even by the same performer as well. So I guess I'm fascinated by music and fascinated by the fact that when you put a human touch to a piece of music, it's always different.
I always have said that I think it would be great if International Convention had a preliminary round that was everybody in a plain black dress singing the same two songs.
Oh, that would be a joy to judge, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it be? It would be so it'd be a fascinating study because it would be when they used to do ice skating, the
Right.
technical round.
Required figures.
Yeah, so to get in the finals, you have to sing these two songs in your own way, and have not have the costuming help. So that's just always, I think it would be a really interesting experiment. So the music category for all of us is a little bit of a mystery. That's why I'm very glad to be talking with you about it today. Can you share the different elements that make up the music category and help us really understand them and put them to use right now when we're not rehearsing?
Let me give you my overall view of how the judging categories work. I think the sound category sort of judges the instrument that we bring to the stage, either as an individual or as a foursome or as a chorus. And so the sound that those instruments make become the basis for this judging in that category. The expression category has a lot to do with the music that we've chosen and whether we are communicating emotionally the lyrics and the pulse and all of the nuances of the language that goes into that. And then showmanship sort of takes us beyond emotional communication to a real in touch with the audience communication, where we become a character and actually dramatize the music and make it come alive. The music category judges what we have chosen to sing and how we choose to sing it. And so you put all those four categories together, and it is a real quartet of covering all of the barbershop art form as well. Now, in particular, every category is divided into percentages except for the expression category, which is 100%. And in music, there's a division of 30% for song and arrangement, and 70% for the performance of that song and arrangement. And so it's the 30% that a lot of people get hung up on because there's just some music that's better for barbershop than other music, let's face it. Some music has a melody that applies itself to the barbershop chords, to the big three of the 11 chords that ring by themselves. And that's an important aspect. There are three chords that ring acoustically by themselves, but when you put the human voice to it, they ring even better and become overtone chords. And so the more you have of those within a song, the better that's going to be, because as Renee Craig always told us, she who rings the most chords wins. So it's always good to have music that has those chords built in. But there's more to it than chords. It's the song has to be structured in such a way that there's an arc of a story, or in an uptune, there's a tempo and a rhythm that keeps your heart beating in some way, and a character evolves through all of that. There's also harmonization, whether the chords go in a progression that makes sense and you can always hear the melody. It's not being obscured by a lot of harmonic differences or secondary chords. And then the music judge, like the sound judge, has to be able to isolate voices and hear the bass line by itself or hear the tenor line by itself to see if what we call the voice leading, whether the notes actually lead in a logical progression from one to another. And so we have to be able to isolate and hear those parts one at a time besides hearing the whole. So all of that goes into the 30%. It's a very complicated kind of thing, but it's only a third of the performance in terms of percentage. The actual performance that takes 70% will include the things that the sound category concentrates on, which are the vocal skills and the harmony accuracy. That has to be there as a basic. But the performance of barbershop style, how you sing that song in terms of tempo, rhythm, musical unity, musical artistry, phrasing, dynamics, all of the things that you bring to the music and make it your own, that goes into the 70%. So that's a more major factor. So the bottom line is you need to choose a song that fits the category, but a song that you can sing well, because that's where the points lie.
So I know that when music judges are commenting, they're often sharing with a performer that a piece of music is beyond their reach. The technical aspect, a song is too hard for them. What are the things that tell you that as you are writing a score sheet?
Some of the things that tell me whether a song is suitable for a chorus or quartet include these things. Do I have to look at my watch during a ballad? Is it too long? Is it to the point where I have lost the entire message as well? So I always tell chorus and quartet members, choose a short ballad, especially if your performance level is about C or B minus or that sort of thing, because it's just it's very difficult to maintain musical integrity through a long song. So that's one thing, is how long and tedious does it seem to be? Am I getting the message of the hook in a ballad, especially? In other words, if the title is the hook, am I getting that message over and over again? Is there structure? Do you tell me what you're going to tell me in the intro, tell me in the body, and then tell me what you told me in the conclusion? So that, like a good essay, it unfolds itself as it goes along and makes a story that makes me feel complete at the end of it. And then another thing that I look for is whether at the climactic chords, either at the ends of big phrases or at the climax, or especially at the tag where everybody's running out of breath, is that within the tessitura? Is that within the singing ranges of whoever has that chord and that spread, especially between the tenors and the basses usually as well? So I look for those, what I call pillar chords, the chords that the song is built on, and whether they're within the ranges of the people themselves. I can also tell sometimes, especially in quartets, whether the lead is coaching the rest of the quartet, and the others are just following rather than taking command of the music themselves. So those are some of the mileposts that I see in determining whether a song is suitable or not.
That's great. So I love that you're talking about the story arc that we tell you in the intro, and then we say it again in the body, and then we say it again in the tag. When you were saying that, what came to my mind was singing The Parting Glass, where it ends on a chord that doesn't really resolve.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. It's very intentional. That is not a contestable piece, but that one makes you hold your breath in a way that is... And
yes,
it's an incredible effect, but that's not what we're using as educational vehicles in the contest setting, and that's why we have all of these descriptors and pieces of this category to
that's
help
right.
us choose a piece of music.
One other thing that I make a point of is that barbershop music, when it's written well and arranged well, should be able to be sung by the average singer, so that the ranges, for example, don't go beyond the ranges of the average singer. In many of our our finest quartets and choruses, they can go beyond the envelope, and because they have ranges that can cover those huge spread chords. But barbershop music at its basis should be able to be sung by the average singer, not a prima donna.
In our chorus setting, the music is chosen to us, given to us, and we're often told what the group is feeling about the song, the emotion that we're trying to present, the story that we're giving, the way that we're telling this journey. So what can that average singer use in the music category descriptors in that category as education for how to make themselves a better performer?
Especially the items under the performance at the top of the score sheet are things that you can think about, because you're right, the music is usually prescribed by people who are smarter than we are, our consultants, our arrangers, our music team, our directors, etc. But if we understand, we have to bring vocal skills, we have to bring harmony accuracy, we have to understand what tempo and rhythm and synchronization are within a group. Those are the kinds of things, plus understanding the plan for phrasing and dynamics. But in the higher level courses, you've got to make sure that that plan is intuitive so that it comes to you naturally as well. And at the highest levels, the difficult should look easy. It should look as if we could all go up there and sing some of these marvelous arrangements, when in fact we really can't usually. And just like any other skill, or I mean, if we were at the Olympics, it would not be a winnable situation if you just brought in the average kind of song. But for most of us who are garden variety singers, we can take average as we make this journey through all of the levels. And one other thing I'll add is that when you're at the C level, then you should be working on the sound category. At the B level, the sound and music category. At B plus and A minus, the sound, the music, and the expression category. But it's finally the finest points of showmanship that take you into the A plus category.
Right. Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. I have always been fascinated by our judging system because it is layers of learning, and the levels really match exactly what our singers are learning to accomplish.
That's right.
Singers. So, of course, I love that you said C level, we focus on vocal skills. One of the things I've always wanted to ask music judges, there's a lot of commentary on score sheets about phrases and energy dying down. So can you talk about one of the ways to combat that? It's typically the second half of the song.
Yes, if you're singing a ballad that's well structured with the intro and the body and the conclusion, then you have to look into the fine points of the body. And the body is usually made up of two A's, a bridge, and a third A, okay? And the three A's tell the same message, but in different ways. And so it's important, I think, for the singer to understand that those A's aren't equal, that the story has to unfold in a bigger way, and that they're going to have to save their stamina for the third A, which usually has a modulation and a big tag coming after it as well. So just like with any performance, you're going to save your best trick for the end of the performance, your best, whatever it happens to be in gymnastics or whatever, that's where it has to be. So you have to build easily. A lot of choruses give it away too soon. And so they end up maybe extending the phrases in the first A or the second A, but by the third A, they don't have it anymore. And the bridge is always very difficult because it is a relief from the other A's. It gives us a different viewpoint usually, and it usually has more chance for accuracy error in the bridge as well. So you've got to be really smart about singing these chords throughout the whole thing. I will say this too, in an uptune, it may have the same structure, but usually if you're singing a medley, and I wouldn't suggest that until you're at the B plus level, because the second song is always more difficult. Then you have to have a modulation and come back to the first song even stronger than you did it the first time. That too has a structure within it. So I think people have to learn to pace themselves when they sing, and not take all of the great big breaths at the beginning of the song, but save them for the end. You've got to have stamina at the end. You must know that in showmanship especially.
I'm looking at the stage, the other judges are looking down, but we all get an impression of an energy loss. We perceive it in a different way depending on our category elements, but it's really obvious. Visually, I think it's the easiest to see, and then the other three categories cover the fact that the ear hears that fatigue. And a lot of us will write things like, oh, your energy, you didn't sustain your energy today, because we understand that they may have had the month before 3 weeks where they were nailing that song every time, but in the performance, that one chance we get to put it out there to be adjudicated, the adrenaline rush, the tempo that may be new, because everyone's a little bit excited, there's just that little bit of sense of loss, and I can always see it on the faces.
As Mavis Burton always said, the eye sees before the ear hears.
Yes.
And that's exactly right, because as you said, we can hear it in the breathlessness, that kind of thing. So the ends of the songs, you have to craft a song so that it comes to a conclusion as well. And our best singers can do that.
Well, I think it's as a tool right now, particularly because choruses are working so hard to learn songs virtually, and there's a whole different set of circumstances that we've all been handling. But quartets could certainly sit down in a Zoom session and go over a song that they are considering in the way that you have described. Identify the three A's, make sure they're there, talk about the bridge, and they don't necessarily have to be fantastic at music theory in order to do this. So,
that's right.
And then there's a lot of people they could reach out to. So who would you recommend they would ask for advice about songs that they're choosing for competition?
Let's just talk about the technical aspects of the thing. If you have any music teachers within your group, asking them about chord structure and about melody and progressions. I mean, that's a basic way to start, because all music is consumed by those things.
Right.
But every director, starting from the C level on up, needs some consultation about music choice from an arranger or a music judge or a trusted consultant of some kind, because those people have to be able to listen to a lot of music and to hear the structures and to hear the chords that are there as well. And so making friends with people who love music and who listen to it a lot is a key factor in determining who should be a consultant to your music team.
Wonderful. And right now is the best time to reach out. We're all feeling the strain a little bit of not being able to create live music together, but it's a really good time to reach out and get input about the structure of the songs you have been working on if you don't have anyone locally to ask. So,
and as a matter of fact, it brings up what my good friend CMA Judy Vidal said to me, that you can work all day at the piano and put an arrangement together, but it means nothing until you hear the voices singing it.
right.
And so our arrangers are hungry for people to use their music in any way that they can.
Yes, absolutely. So it's been really wonderful talking to you about the category today. I know we could talk for hours about this. We both have been a part of it for a long time and seeing the benefit of people being adjudicated by fairly strict parameters, which helps those average singers that you mentioned increase their skills. That's the way I think about competition. I know there are awards and all those other things, but all four of the categories right now, the descriptors at the top of each page, can be used right now for us to continue learning how to be better performers. So
absolutely, and I can't wait until we all perform again in shows and in singing engagements and in competition as well.
yes, we were talking, Sharon and I were speaking before we got on camera about that first breath that we all take in a large room together and the first chord that we create. It's going to be wonderful.
We're going to be having a cry fest. I don't think we'll get past the first chord.
I think we are. It'll be one chord and then it'll be over.
That's right.
So, well, thank you so much, and I hope that you and your husband stay safe and continue to be healthy, and we will look forward to seeing you again in another Zoom room, and then hopefully in the near future in person.
Thank you,
so much.
Renee. Thank you so much.